The massive screen inside Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with thousands of red dots. At first, they looked like stars, but they were moving, all of them moving straight toward Earth. Admiral James Walker stood from his chair, his gray eyes fixed on the display. "How many?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "Over 10,000 ships, sir," replied Officer Tom Reed, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. "They just appeared at the edge of Neptune's orbit. Nothing like we've ever seen before." The command center buzzed with controlled activity. 50 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity had known they weren't alone, had been watching, waiting, and building their defenses in secret. Now, the day they had prepared for had finally arrived. "Activate the outer sensor grid," Walker ordered. "Let's see what our visitors are made of." The screen shifted, showing detailed scans of the approaching fleet. The ships were massive, some bigger than Earth's largest cities. They gleamed with gold and silver, covered in strange symbols that the computers were already trying to decode. "Sir, they're broadcasting something," said Communications Officer Mary White. "It's being transmitted on all frequencies." Walker nodded. "Let's hear it." A deep voice filled the room, speaking in perfect English. Their universal translators had clearly been busy. "Attention, primitive world. This is Grand Admiral Rex of the Imperial Galactic Fleet. Your world has been chosen to join the greatest empire in the known universe. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Submit, and you will serve. You have 1 Earth hour to respond." Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Empire had no idea what they were walking into. Earth's apparent primitive status was the result of decades of careful planning. Every satellite they could see was old technology, deliberately left in orbit. The real defenses lay hidden, waiting. "Send the prepared response," Walker commanded. Mary pressed a few buttons, and Earth's message began broadcasting. "This is Earth Defense Command. We acknowledge your presence. Please hold position beyond Mars orbit for diplomatic discussion." The response was immediate and predictable. "Primitive worlds do not make demands of the Empire. We approach." Walker touched his command console, opening a channel to all Earth's hidden defense stations. "All stations, this is Admiral Walker. Operation Lighthouse is now in effect. Remember your training. Remember what we're protecting." The Imperial fleet moved faster now, their engines leaving trails of blue fire across space. They passed Jupiter's orbit in minutes, their technology far beyond what Earth was supposedly capable of understanding. "They're crossing the Mars line, sir," Tom reported. Walker stood straighter. "Show them why that was a mistake." From hidden bases on Mars moons, Phobos and Deimos, energy beams suddenly erupted. They weren't weapons, not exactly. The beams created a massive holographic display, visible to every ship in the Imperial fleet. It showed Earth's true defense capabilities: quantum shields, antimatter weapons, and technology that the Empire had never seen before. "Imperial fleet," Walker's voice boomed across space, now transmitted with perfect clarity to every ship. "You seem to be operating under a misconception. We are not primitive. We are not helpless. And we are most certainly not interested in joining your empire." The Imperial fleet slowed, their formation wavering for the first time. "This is your only warning," Walker continued. "Earth and the Sol system are forbidden to you. Any further advancement will be considered an act of war. Decide carefully." In the command center, everyone held their breath. The Empire had never retreated before. This was documented fact from their decades of secret observation. They had never faced defeat in over 1,000 years. The Imperial ships hung in space, their golden hulls reflecting the distant sunlight. For 5 long minutes, nothing moved. Then, slowly, the ships at the back of the fleet began to turn. "Sir," Mary called out, excitement in her voice. "They're withdrawing. All of them." Walker nodded, but kept his eyes on the screen. "Maintain alert status. The Empire doesn't give up easily. This was just their first move. He was right, of course. This was only the beginning. But Earth had shown its hand, just enough to make the Empire think twice. The real surprises were still hidden, waiting for the moment they would be needed. Because humanity had learned long ago. Sometimes the best defense isn't a powerful weapon, but making your enemy wonder what weapons you're hiding. 3 days after the Imperial fleet's retreat, a single golden ship approached Earth. It was smaller than the warships, but more decorated, clearly a diplomatic vessel. The ship stopped at the exact distance Earth had specified, just beyond Mars' orbit. They're requesting permission to send a shuttle to Earth, Officer Mary White reported. 1 ambassador, 2 guards. Admiral Walker stood in the United Council chamber now, surrounded by Earth's leaders. The circular room was built deep underground, its walls lined with screens showing real-time data from across the solar system. "Let them come," said Council Leader David Green. "But they land where we choose." The Imperial shuttle was guided to a landing pad in the middle of the Australian desert. Earth chose this location carefully, far from major cities, easy to contain if things went wrong. A small welcome party waited, including Admiral Walker and 3 council members. The shuttle's door opened with a hiss of air. Out stepped a tall figure in flowing purple robes. His skin was pale blue, and his eyes had a metallic shine to them. This was Lord Marcus, the Empire's chief diplomat. "Welcome to Earth," Walker said formally. Lord Marcus looked around the desert with obvious disgust. "This is how you greet the Empire's ambassador? In a wasteland." "This is where we chose to meet," Walker replied calmly. "Your message mentioned terms." Marcus's expression changed to a cold smile. "Ah yes, the terms. Simple ones, really." He pulled out a small device that projected a hologram into the air. "The Empire claims Earth and all its resources. Your people will serve as workers in our factories. Your military leaders will be replaced. In return, you get to live. Those are our terms." Walker noticed how Marcus didn't even look at them while speaking, as if they were beneath his attention. The Empire's arrogance was exactly what Earth had counted on. "And if we refuse?" asked Council Member Jane Porter. For the first time, Marcus looked directly at them. "Then the Empire returns with not 10,000 ships, but 100,000. Your little light show at Mars was impressive, but the Empire cannot be stopped. We have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. Your world will burn if you resist." Walker stepped forward. "Before you make threats, Lord Marcus, perhaps you'd like to see something." He nodded to Officer Tom Reed, who pressed a button on his tablet. The ground rumbled, and the desert sand began to shift. A massive door opened in the earth, revealing the hidden facility below. "Please, follow me," Walker said. The underground facility was massive, stretching for miles in every direction. As they walked, Marcus saw rows of advanced ships, weapons he didn't recognize, and technology that shouldn't exist on a world the Empire had classified as primitive. "Impossible," Marcus whispered. "Our scans showed nothing like this." "That's because we didn't want you to see it," Walker explained. "We've been watching the Empire for 50 years. We saw what you did to other worlds. So we hid, we prepared, and we developed technology you've never seen before." They stopped at a large window overlooking a massive chamber. Inside, a device pulsed with blue energy. "This," Walker said, "is just one of our quantum fold generators. It can create a pocket of space where your ship's weapons simply stop working. We have hundreds of them." Marcus's confident smile was gone now. "You're bluffing. No world could hide this much advancement." Council Member Porter laughed softly. "We didn't hide our advancement, Lord Marcus. We hid how far we had advanced. There's a difference. Here are our terms," Walker said. "The Empire will leave the Sol system. Earth and all its planets are now forbidden to you. Any Imperial ship that enters our space will not leave it. We've already shared this technology with other worlds you threatened. The Empire's days of easy conquest are over." Marcus's face turned a darker shade of blue with anger. The Emperor will not accept this. The Emperor, Walker said quietly, doesn't have a choice. Humanity doesn't bow. Lord Marcus, we never have. We never will. Your shuttle is waiting to take you back to your ship. As Marcus stormed away, Walker watched the Imperial shuttle take off. He knew this wasn't over. The Empire would try again. But now they knew that Earth wasn't the easy target they'd thought it was, and Earth was ready for whatever came next. The Imperial fleet returned exactly 1 week after Lord Marcus left Earth. This time, they brought 200,000 ships. They filled the space beyond Mars like angry stars, their golden hulls blocking out the real starlight behind them. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Walker watched the massive fleet with calm eyes. Around him, his crew worked at their stations, each person knowing exactly what to do. They had trained for this moment for years. "They're broadcasting, sir," Officer Mary White announced. "Playing it now." The harsh voice of Grand Admiral Rex filled the room again. "Primitive Earth, you have insulted the Empire. Your deception will be punished. Surrender now, or we will destroy every city on your world." Walker pressed a button on his command chair. "This is Admiral Walker. I see you brought more ships this time. Good. Now you'll have more ships to lose. You dare mock the Imperial fleet?" Rex shouted. "We will show you the true power of the Empire." The Imperial ships moved forward as one massive wave. Their weapons charged, creating a web of red light across space. They passed Mars' orbit, ignoring the warning from their last visit. Walker nodded to Officer Tom Reed. "Activate the quantum shields. All of them." Across the solar system, hidden stations powered up. A blue wave of energy spread out from Earth, expanding like a bubble. As it touched the first line of Imperial ships, their weapons suddenly went dark. "What is this trickery?" Rex's voice boomed, but now there was fear in it. "This," Walker replied, "is why Earth is forbidden to you. Commander Anna Thompson, you may proceed." From behind Earth's moon, a new fleet appeared. These ships were different from anything the Empire had seen. They were smaller, darker, and seemed to bend the light around them. This was Earth's Ghost Fleet, their best-kept secret. Commander Thompson's voice came over the radio. "Ghost Fleet engaging. Show them what Earth can do." The ghost ships moved like shadows through space. Imperial sensors couldn't lock onto them. Their weapons passed right through them. But when Earth's ships fired, their shots hit with perfect accuracy. In the command center, everyone watched as the mighty Imperial fleet faced something they had never experienced before: defeat. "Impossible," Rex screamed as another group of his ships went dark. "No primitive world has this kind of technology." "That's where you made your mistake," Walker said calmly. "You thought we were primitive because we wanted you to think that. While you conquered other worlds, we watched and learned. While you relied on brute force, we developed better technology. And now you're seeing just a small part of what Earth can do." The Ghost Fleet moved through the Imperial formation like water through rocks. They didn't destroy the Imperial ships. They didn't need to. Earth's quantum technology simply shut them down, leaving them floating helplessly in space. "Admiral Rex," Walker's voice was firm, but not cruel. "Look at your fleet. A quarter of your ships are powerless. Another quarter can't even see our vessels. Do you want to see what happens when we stop being gentle?" There was silence on the radio. The Imperial ships that could still move had stopped advancing. "This is your last warning," Walker continued. "Earth is forbidden to the Empire. Leave now and tell your Emperor what you saw here today. Tell him that humanity will not bow, will not serve, and will not be conquered." Finally, Rex's voice returned, but the arrogance was gone. You will regret this defiance. The Empire will return." "No," Walker said simply. "You won't, because now you know what waits for you here. Ghost Fleet, escort our guests back past Neptune's orbit. Make sure they leave." As Earth's invisible ships herded the defeated Imperial fleet away, Walker turned to his crew. Send word to our allies on other worlds. Show them what happened here today. It's time for the galaxy to know that the Empire isn't invincible anymore. He looked at the main screen, watching the Empire's ships retreat. And most importantly, let them know that Earth stands ready to help those who want to be free. Because this wasn't just about protecting Earth anymore. It was about changing the galaxy itself. 2 months after Earth defeated the Imperial fleet, Commander Anna Thompson stood on the bridge of her ghost ship, the Shadow Blade. Her vessel hung invisible in space, watching the Empire's biggest shipyard. Around her, 50 other ghost ships waited in perfect silence. "All ships report ready," Officer Jack Wilson whispered, though in space no one could hear them anyway. Old habits died hard. "Show me the target," Anna ordered. A hologram appeared, showing the massive Imperial shipyard. It floated above a planet called New Steel, where thousands of slaves worked to build the Empire's warships. The Empire thought this place was secret. They were wrong. "Admiral Walker's transmission coming in," Jack announced. Walker's face appeared on the main screen. "Commander Thompson, is your fleet in position?" "Yes, sir. The Empire has no idea we're here." Anna smiled slightly. "They still think their shipyard is hidden." "Good." Walker nodded. "You know your mission. Disable their ships, free the slaves, and show the Empire that nowhere is safe from Earth's justice." The screen went dark. Anna turned to her crew. "You heard the Admiral. Ghost Fleet, activate quantum disruptors. Time to ruin the Empire's day." 50 quantum disruptors powered up at once. The Empire's sensors didn't even notice. These were the same weapons that had stopped their fleet at Earth, but now they were being used for attack. 3 minutes until full charge, Jack reported. Anna watched the Imperial ships floating in their docks. The Empire's guards were so confident in their secrecy that they barely had any defenses. That was about to cost them dearly. "Launch the liberation pods," Anna ordered. Small dark pods shot out from each ghost ship. Like their motherships, they were invisible to Imperial sensors. Each pod carried 20 Earth soldiers, equipped with the best stealth technology humanity had created. "Quantum disruption field at full power," Jack said. "Ready on your command." Anna took a deep breath. "Execute Operation Freedom. Now." The quantum field activated. Instantly, every Imperial ship in the shipyard went dark. Their engines died, their weapons failed, and their communications stopped working. At the same time, the liberation pods landed on the slave platforms. "Imperial guards are blind," Jack reported, watching the sensor feeds. "Our troops are moving in. No casualties on our side." Through the ship's viewers, Anna watched Earth's plan unfold. The Imperial guards, without their fancy technology, were quickly overwhelmed. The slaves, seeing their chance for freedom, joined the Earth soldiers in taking control. "Commander," Jack called out. "Imperial distress signal detected. They managed to get a short message out before we shut them down." Anna smiled. "Good. Let them call for help. That's part of the plan." Within an hour, the entire shipyard was under Earth's control. 10,000 slaves were free, and 50 Imperial ships sat powerless in their docks. But the real show was about to begin. "Imperial rescue fleet detected," Jack announced. 300 ships, approaching fast. "Right on time," Anna said. "Send the signal to Admiral Walker." Suddenly, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive portal appeared, and through it came Earth's main fleet, led by Admiral Walker himself. The Imperial rescue ships found themselves caught between the Ghost Fleet and Earth's warships. "This is Commander Thompson of Earth's Ghost Fleet," Anna broadcast to the Imperial ships. "Your shipyard is under our control. Your slaves are free. You are surrounded by forces you cannot detect or fight. Surrender or face the consequences." The Imperial ships stopped. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then, one by one, they started powering down their weapons. "Ghost Fleet, move in," Anna ordered. "Secure those ships. Send a message to every Imperial world. Earth's reach is longer than you think. Your slaves will be freed. Your power will end, and there's nothing you can do to stop us." As her crew carried out their orders, Anna looked at the freed slaves being helped onto Earth's rescue ships. This was why they had prepared for so long. Not just to protect Earth, but to help others win their freedom too. The Empire had ruled through fear for 1,000 years. But they were about to learn that fear worked both ways, and Earth was just getting started. The Emperor's palace on Imperial Prime covered an entire continent. Its golden towers reached into the clouds, built by the work of 1,000,000 slaves over hundreds of years. Today, those towers shook with the Emperor's rage. How dare they? Emperor Rex thundered, his face dark with anger. On the screens around him, reports showed Earth's attacks on Imperial shipyards, slave camps, and military bases. These humans must be destroyed. But for the first time in Imperial history, no one in the throne room agreed with the Emperor. They had all seen the reports. Earth wasn't just fighting the Empire, they were winning. Meanwhile, in Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Walker stood before the United Council. The room was packed with representatives from 50 freed worlds, their faces showing hope for the first time in centuries. "It's time," Walker said. "Begin the broadcast." Officer Mary White pressed a series of buttons. "Broadcasting on all frequencies, sir. Every world in the Empire will see this." Walker stepped forward, his image now appearing on billions of screens across the galaxy. "People of the galaxy, I speak to you from Earth. For too long, the Empire has ruled through fear and slavery. That ends today." In the Imperial Palace, the Emperor watched helplessly as Walker's message played on every screen. His technicians couldn't stop it. Earth's signal was too strong. "Today, Earth declares the Sol system and all freed worlds off-limits to the Empire," Walker continued. "We issue the Sol exclusion order. Any Imperial ship, soldier, or spy who enters these protected zones will face immediate action." The broadcast shifted to show Imperial ships being defeated by Earth's Ghost Fleet. It showed slaves being freed, Imperial bases being captured, and worlds declaring their independence. "But we're not stopping there," Walker said. "Earth now stands with all people who wish to be free. We have created the Free Systems Alliance. Any world that wants to join us will receive our protection and our technology." In slave camps across the galaxy, the prisoners watched in amazement. On Imperial warships, crews saw their mighty fleet defeated again and again by Earth's invisible ships. In the Empire's factories, workers stopped their machines to listen. "To prove we mean what we say," Walker continued, "we are releasing proof of Imperial war crimes. The Empire has hidden its cruelty for 1,000 years. No more." New images filled the screens. Secret recordings showed the Empire's darkest deeds. Documents proved their lies. The truth, hidden for so long, was finally revealed to everyone. "To the Empire's slaves, we say, rise up. Your chains are weaker than you think." Walker's voice was strong and clear. "To the Empire's soldiers, we say, look at what you serve. Ask yourself if this is what you want to fight for." In the Imperial Palace, nobles began quietly leaving the throne room. The Emperor's rage meant nothing now. They had seen Earth's power, and more importantly, they had seen Earth's mercy to those who surrendered. "To the Emperor himself, we say this. Your time is ending. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy like you did. We want something more important. We want everyone to be free." Walker held up a small device. "This contains plans for our basic quantum shields. We are sending this data to every world in the galaxy. The Empire's weapons will no longer work against anyone who builds these defenses. The age of Imperial terror is over." The broadcast ended, but its effect was just beginning. Across the galaxy, slaves looked at their chains with new eyes. Imperial soldiers questioned their orders, and scared nobles began plotting against their emperor. In the command center, Walker turned to the representatives of the freed worlds. "It's done. The Empire will try to say this is all lies, but the proof is too strong. Their own people will turn against them now. An alien delegate stood up. His people had been slaves just 2 weeks ago. What do we do next? Walker smiled. We help everyone who asks for freedom. We teach them to use Earth's technology. And we make sure the Empire can never hurt anyone again. Because Earth hadn't just banned the Empire from one system. They had banned the very idea of Empire itself. And soon, the galaxy would be free. 1 month after Earth's galaxy-wide broadcast, the Empire began to tear itself apart. Admiral Walker watched the reports coming in from across space, each one showing another piece of the Empire falling away. Sir, Officer Tom Reed called out, Imperial fleet approaching Sector 7. Friendly or hostile? Walker asked, though these days it was getting harder to tell the difference. Friendly, sir. They're broadcasting surrender codes. It's the entire 4th Imperial Fleet. Their admiral wants to join the Free Systems Alliance. This wasn't the first Imperial Fleet to switch sides, and it wouldn't be the last. On the main screen, Walker watched 50 Imperial warships approach Earth's defense line, their weapons powered down. In another part of the galaxy, Commander Anna Thompson's Ghost Fleet watched an even more interesting sight. The Imperial Palace on Imperial Prime was burning. Not from Earth's attacks, but from its own people. Commander, Officer Jack Wilson reported, the Imperial Guard has turned against the Emperor. They're fighting each other inside the palace. Anna nodded. Record everything. The galaxy needs to see this. Inside the Imperial Palace, chaos ruled. Noble families who had served the Empire for generations now fought each other in the Golden Halls. Some supported the Emperor, others wanted to surrender to Earth, and some just wanted to grab power for themselves. Emperor Rex sat on his throne, watching his empire crumble. Send the alert to all loyal ships, he ordered. Crush these rebels. But when the order went out, something unexpected happened. Most Imperial ships didn't respond. Those that did were quickly stopped by their own crew members. The Empire's soldiers had seen Earth's evidence of Imperial crimes. They had watched their mighty fleets defeated by Earth's superior technology. Many of them had families on worlds that wanted to join the Free Systems Alliance. In Earth's Defense Command Center, more reports kept coming in. Sir, Mary White called out, the mining worlds in Sector 12 have declared independence. Their workers are using the quantum shield plans we sent. Imperial ships can't get near them. The slave worlds in Sector 9 are free, Tom added. The guards surrendered when they saw the Ghost Fleet appear. Walker smiled. Earth's plan was working perfectly. They hadn't needed to destroy the Empire. They just needed to show everyone the truth and give them the tools to fight back. On Imperial Prime, the fighting got worse. The Imperial Guard split into 3 groups. One group protected the Emperor. Another joined the rebels. The third just wanted to escape. The palace defenses are down. A guard captain reported to the Emperor, we can't hold them back anymore. Emperor Rex stood from his throne. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. Prepare my escape ship. But when he reached the palace landing pad, he found his ship was gone. In its place stood Lord Marcus, the same ambassador who had once threatened Earth. Going somewhere, my emperor, Marcus asked coldly. You dare betray me? Rex snarled. No, Marcus replied. You betrayed us. You said Earth was weak. You said we could crush them. Now look at what's happened. The Empire is finished. Back on Earth, Walker received the final report. Sir, Emperor Rex has been captured by his own nobles. They're offering to surrender the entire Empire to the Free Systems Alliance. Walker shook his head. Tell them we don't want their empire. Every world should choose its own path now. Earth will help them build something better. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The empire that had ruled for 1,000 years had fallen in less than 6 months. Not through war or destruction, but because Earth had shown everyone a better way. Send word to all our ships, Walker ordered. The war is over. Now the real work begins. Because ending the Empire was just the first step. Now they had to help build a free galaxy, and Earth would lead the way, not through force, but through hope and freedom. 5 years after the Empire's fall, Admiral Walker stood on the observation deck of Earth's new space station. The massive structure floated at the edge of the solar system, serving as a beacon for ships from across the galaxy. Below him, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered for the first Galactic Council meeting. "Hard to believe how much has changed," Commander Anna Thompson said, joining him at the window. Her ghost fleet now served as peacekeepers, helping worlds defend their newfound freedom. "Look there," Walker pointed to a group of ships arriving through the quantum gates. "Those are from the Outer Rim worlds. They used to be the Empire's mining slaves. Now they're leading the galaxy in clean energy technology." The meeting hall was unlike anything the Empire had built. Instead of a throne for one ruler, it had seats for every world's representatives. The walls showed real-time images from across space, reminding everyone how connected they had become. "Admiral," Officer Mary White called from her station. "The final report is ready." Walker nodded. It was time to show everyone what they had achieved together. He stepped onto the speaker's platform, facing the gathered representatives. 5 years ago, he began. Earth banned the Galactic Empire from our space. Today, we celebrate something greater. We celebrate the end of empires themselves. The screen showed images from across the galaxy. Former imperial worlds now govern themselves. The old slave mines had become centers of learning. The Empire's warships had been turned into exploration vessels. The Free Systems Alliance now includes over 1,000 worlds. Walker continued, "Not because we conquered them, but because we helped them become free. Earth's technology has been shared with everyone who wants to use it for peace." In the audience, Lord Marcus sat quietly. After helping capture the Emperor, he had become a strong supporter of the new system. Like many former imperial nobles, he had learned that helping others brought more happiness than controlling them. "Our ghost fleets no longer hide in shadows," Walker said. "They travel openly, protecting trade routes and helping worlds in need. The quantum shields that once stopped imperial weapons now power cities and ships across the galaxy." The chamber's displays showed the new galactic map. The old imperial borders were gone. In their place were trading routes, cultural exchanges, and signs of cooperation between worlds that had once been enemies. "But our greatest achievement isn't in technology or defense," Walker smiled. "It's in how we've grown together. Every world in the Alliance helps others. Knowledge flows freely. No one is forced to serve. Everyone has a voice." Officer Tom Reed appeared on the platform, carrying a small box. Inside was the last imperial crown, the symbol of power that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. "The former Emperor's crown will be placed in our museum," Walker announced. "Not to honor it, but to remind us of what we overcame together. The age of empires is over. The age of freedom has begun." The chamber erupted in applause. Representatives from worlds that had once been bitter enemies now stood together, celebrating their shared future. Later, in the observation deck, Walker watched ships coming and going through the quantum gates. Each ship carried people who were free to chart their own course among the stars. "Message from Earth Defense Command," Mary reported. "They finished converting the last Imperial battle station into a hospital. The Free Systems Medical Corps is ready to begin operations." Walker nodded. This was what Earth had really wanted all along. Not to rule the galaxy, but to help it heal and grow. "Send word to all stations," he ordered. "The Sol system remains open to friends and peaceful travelers. Earth's ban only stands against those who would build empires again." Because that was humanity's real victory. They hadn't just banned one empire from their space. They had shown the galaxy that there was a better way to live. A way without emperors or slaves, without conquests or chains. Earth had kept its promise. The galaxy was free, and it would stay that way. Not through force or fear, but through cooperation, hope, and the simple truth that freedom was worth protecting. And if anyone ever tried to build an empire again, well, Earth's ghost fleet was still out there, watching and ready, because some things were worth banning forever.